السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Can the sisters upstairs hear? Can they? Okay, alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khair. Brothers and sisters in Islam, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, every night inshallah, prior to the Isha prayer, we will be having a summary tafsir of what is to be recited that night. Now there's many ways of doing this. There could be a swift pace, run through it, or there can be a point that we take from the portion that's being recited and expand on it, or we can talk in regards to what's being discussed as an overview. We will inshallah here at the Islamic Association of Collin County try to focus on things that can inshallah help build us on every night. That when reciting the Quran is being recited and we're listening to the Quran, the overall theme, that point can be driven home. It's something I can put into myself and inshallah through time, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inculcate it into my life. But before we talk about Surah Baqarah and Surah Al-Fatiha, I think it's imperative we go to the drawing board first. There are 3 essential etiquettes that's required in order for us all to benefit from the Quran. If we don't talk about these etiquettes, then regardless how much we read, how much we hear, how much time we devote to the Holy Quran, we may not be gaining the return that we anticipated. So today we want to talk about the pre-Quran responsibilities and etiquettes. Is that okay, inshallah, everyone? We want to talk about 3 things, and I want you to put this, inshallah, in your heart and in your mind. The 3 things to remember in regards to the Holy Quran: number 1 is purity. Number 2 is seeking Allah's protection. And number 3 is respect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Waqi'ah, verse number 75 to 80 states, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ فِي كِتَابٍ مَكْنُونٍ لَا يَمَسُّهُ إِلَّا الْمُطَهَّرُونَ تَنزِيلٌ مِّن رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Remember one thing, my dear brothers and sisters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no need to take an oath. Oath is taken conventionally for one of 3 reasons. And none of those 3 reasons befit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not testifying in court, is He? So He doesn't have to give an oath. He's not trying to convince us or remove doubt, is He? No. Nor is He trying to warn us from something. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need to take an oath. Remember that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes oath throughout the Holy Quran. He takes oath on various creations of His. The purpose isn't what He's taking oath of. The focus should be the message that comes after the oath. For example, وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا وَالسَّمَاءِ وَمَا بَنَاهَا وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا طَحَاهَا وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. Allah took in this surah 11 oaths. How many, everyone? 11 oaths. Now we can sit down and discuss, Allah took an oath of the sky and this and that. Don't look at that. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trying to say when He takes these oaths? فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. If you purify this thing, the thing that's called the heart, you're successful. But if you fail to purify your heart, you're a failure. Knowledge, as we were talking in the Taqwa seminary, we don't need knowledge here. We need knowledge in here. Because the knowledge that reaches your heart is with conviction, is with determination, is removed all doubt from it. There is no way a person can extract what's in the heart. So Allah took 11 oaths for that. Just keep that in mind. Going back to the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I swear by the setting of the stars. And indeed, it is an oath if you could know most great. Allah is taking an oath and He's saying, if you understood the oath I just took, it's a great oath. What is He trying to tell us? إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ. Indeed, what's in front of you is a noble Qur'an. فِي كِتَابٍ مَكْنُونٍ. It is registered, it is in a register that is well protected. I had a brother take Shahada today, and we were talking about the Bible. And based on the Bible Museum up in Washington, sorry, I don't know what that is, 90% of the Bible has been changed, has been deleted. Even the New Testament, 25% of it. This is not a Muslim. This is a Christian explaining the history of the Bible. And they're talking in regards to the slave Bible, because the slave masters had their own Bible, which allowed them to, I don't know what to call it, to be tyrant on people with the actions of slavery justified by the Bible. But it was changed out. Allah is telling us, my brothers and sisters, the Quran is a register that's well protected. This is the only book, remember this, that Allah from the divine scriptures has taken an oath, it will be protected. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. We revealed this Quran and we're protecting it. No one can take it away. Previous scriptures were changed, altered, deleted. But this Quran will never be, inshallah, because Allah has said He's not going to allow it to. Now Allah is saying that this Quran is noble, it's registered in a well-protected area. What is Allah trying to tell us about it? لَا يَمَسُّهُ إِلَّا الْمُطَهَّرُونَ. None touch it except the purified. When I am in wudu, when I'm wearing clean clothes, when I have performed ghusl, and I'm sitting in the masjid, and I open the Quran, ask yourself, is my soul pure enough to receive these words? Is my heart clean enough to embrace these words? Is my mind cleansed from evilness and wickedness and immorality and lewdness that I can receive these words? لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. We have debates. Can a person touch the Quran if it's on the phone? Can someone touch a Quran which is on the iPad? There is a fatwa and there's taqwa. Fatwa and legal ruling may allow you to. But taqwa in a higher level of piety is, I won't. Why? Because regardless if it's pixels of light that make the Quran, Allah is saying none should touch it except the pure. So I shall in this month say, inshallah, strive to purify myself internally as much as I'm cognizant of purifying myself externally, so that this Quran can come to me, so that this Quran can come into me, so that this Quran can mold me, and so that I can become the Quran. A Sahabi came to Aisha radiallahu anha and said, what was the character of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And she said, have you not read the Quran? And he said, yes. He replied in the affirmative, yes. And she said that he was the Quran. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون تنزيل من رب العالمين. It's revealed from a Lord of the worlds. Now there's a few things I want us all to put on our checklist for this Ramadan, inshallah. And one is to stay in the state of physical purity at all times. Say inshallah. This is very important, because we don't understand the importance and significance of being in a state of purity. Before I highlight those significance, let's go back one more step. Many of us go to the bathroom, men and women. We rush. We sometimes don't clean ourselves correctly because we don't want to miss the prayer, or because the commercial is short and the show is going to continue, or it's 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter and I want to make sure that my team wins. So we want to just rush in and out. For men, standing up and urinating is a common theme. And subhanAllah, when you see people and you tell them, they say, it's in the hadith, it's in Bukhari. The Prophet ﷺ stood up and he urinated. Yes, there is a hadith. But there's also a hadith, whoever says that Prophet ﷺ stood up and urinated, do not believe them. Why? What happened? There was a certain condition at that time where Rasulullah ﷺ stood up and urinated. It did not become a daily phenomenon. You're in a public restroom or your home. You should ensure its cleanliness regardless, for yourself and for the person after you. You come to the masjid, you want to go to the bathroom, and the whole toilet seat is glowing. What is this? There's a hadith that Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrates, that once the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was passing by two graves, and the two persons in the graves were being tortured, and he said, they are not being tortured for a great thing, meaning it was something they could have avoided. One of them never used to cleanse themselves or save themselves from their urine. When you walk out of the bathroom, brothers, and you fail to sit down, when you sit down and you squat, if you can squat or raise your feet, there is pressure against your prostate and against your bladder. What happens is every drop of urine comes out. When you stand, like American Standard toilet, stand up, and you walk away, there's been no pressure applied to your bladder, drops of urine continue to come out. And when they come out, this is what the Prophet ﷺ is saying is a source of punishment in the grave. May Allah protect all of us. Ameen. So we need to make sure that when we go to the bathroom, one or two, make sure we cleanse ourselves. Now, going to wudu. Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu reports that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the key to paradise is prayer. So the key to your safety deposit box in the bank is what, everyone? Prayer. But the key to the vault is wudu. The key to paradise is prayer, and the key to prayer is ablution and wudu. And we find that when a person makes wudu, all their sins are purified. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he who performs wudu perfectly, his sins depart from his body even from under his nails. When a person continues to stay in a state of wudu, we will be recognized tomorrow. In an excerpt of a hadith recorded by Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how will we recognize those of your ummah who are not born yet? How will we on the day of judgment recognize our ummah from those who we don't know, those who came before us and those who will come after us? He said, if a man had white-footed horses with white foreheads amongst horses which are pure black, would you not recognize those horses? The Sahaba said, certainly, Ya Rasulullah. The Prophet ﷺ said, my followers will come with bright faces and white limbs because of wudu, and I will arrive at Kawthar ahead of them. Say subhanallah. There is no nation that will drink from Kawthar except for the nation of Rasulullah ﷺ. There will be no people that will be touched by the beloved hands of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ except for the ummah of Rasulullah ﷺ. This will not be for anyone else. This is a VIP standard. And he will recognize you because you continue to stay in the state of wudu. When a person performs wudu carefully and affirms, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. When a person makes wudu and says this kalima shahada, according to hadith of Imam Muslim, the 8 gates of Jannah are open for them. Say subhanallah. This person was not fasting. This person was not praying in the masjid. This person may have done wudu in their workplace. But when you perform wudu and you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, the 8 gates of paradise open for you. Subhanallah. It is only now that Allah has commanded Ridwan, the gatekeeper of Jannah, open the gates. But when you make wudu, every time you say the shahada, the doors are opening for you. When you make wudu, the angels pray for you. When you make wudu and you go to sleep, your soul remains in prostration all night in front of the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you make wudu and you go to sleep, you get the reward of engaging in prayer all night. And when you make wudu and go to sleep, you'll be protected from nightmares. I'm just summarizing points. There's so many hadith. Let me tell you all something. I'm a firm believer in this. If we stay in a state of purity at all times, you will become a wali of Allah. Inshallah. Say inshallah. People have made it in our religion that it's so hard to obtain the status of a wali or a muttaqi or darajatul ihsan, the level of ihsan. It is very simple. And based on these hadith which I've told you and many more ahadith, by you staying in the state of purity, let me tell you simple. Imagine a president walking and Secret Service and the guards walking all around them. Do you feel anyone could harm that individual? No. When you're in the state of wudu, the angels are around you like Secret Service and bodyguards. Top to bottom, left to right, beneath the ground and above the sky. They're covering you. Why not then stay in the state of wudu? Allah wants our physical purity. Allah wants our internal purity. And He has made an oath that this Quran, no one shall touch it except for the pure. May Allah make us amongst us. Say Ameen. Number 2, in essence of time, when you start reading the Quran, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ لَهُ سُلْطَانٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ إِنَّمَا سُلْطَانُهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يَتَوَلَّوْنَهُ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِهِ مُشْرِكُونَ. In chapter number 16, verse number 98, 99, and 100, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, He's instructing us, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ, when you read, when you recite the Quran, seek refuge in Allah from shaitan, the one who's been expelled from His mercy. This habitual practice, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, stop. أعوذ, everyone, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Say it with confidence when you say it when you open the Quran. Say it with determination when you open the Quran. Oh Allah, I'm opening this Quran. I'm seeking your protection from the accursed shaitan. Oh Allah, I want you to mold me and I want shaitan to run from me. We are not an ummah that's supposed to protect ourselves from shaitan. We are an ummah that when we stand up, shaitan pees in his pants. When we walk, shaitan runs. And when we confront him, he will melt like salt in water. We are the ummah that have been told in the Holy Quran, shaitan has called you his enemies. You better make him your enemy. He wants to deceive you. We are going to make him fail. Say inshallah. So recite the Quran and say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim when you do so. And last but not least, brothers and sisters. Last but not least. In chapter number 7, verse number 204, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us about something that's known as respect. Respect. You know, people can have their opinions, and I don't have time to debate with people. It's only a book. I'll put on the floor. It's only paper. The true essence is in my heart. MashaAllah. I remember Mufti Rashid Saab from Pune, India told us a story that when they were in China and they were traveling from one city to another and they were forbidden to stop in between. But they were adamant to the bus driver to stop and so that they could make wudu and that they could pray Salatul Dhuhr. And when they did stop by this stream and they made wudu, the people came out of the houses and they saw these people making wudu. They brought towels and one of them came and asked, Muslim? They said yes. They said Salah? They said yes. Then they brought this old man. There was a language barrier and he said Quran. He said Quran. Mufti Rashid, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless his life. He's a good scholar. I met him in Pune in 2001. He said he always keeps the Quran in his upper pocket. He took it out and gave it to him and they cried. And one of them explained that this man, the elder of the community, his wish was that, oh Allah, before I die, let me touch the Quran. Oh Allah, before I die, let me see the Quran. We today are spoiled. We don't understand what the world is trying to do to get this Quran, to memorize this Quran, to read the Quran. A blind person wishes that they can open the Quran and read. A sick person stuck on their bed without any source of healing or any thought that they'll get better, wishes that they can hold on to the Quran. I remember standing by the bedside of someone whose soul was being taken out. One hand he was clutching my hand, and the other hand he was clutching to the Quran. The Quran needs you because you need it. You respect it, Allah will give to you. There is no barriers between you and Allah except for the barriers we've made in our mind. Remove those barriers. Allah wants to give you. He's given you this month because you can take it. But how many of us fail to take the Quran? Take the Quran this month and take it by seeking Allah's protection, by staying in a state of purity, and last but not least, respecting it. When you see the physical Quran, I always tell my students, when you hold the Quran, you hold it like this, because it stays close to your heart. You don't just hold it like this. This is not your math textbook. Even the math textbook you should hold like this, because everything is knowledge. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took oath, Noon wal qalami wa ma yasturun, He took oath of the pen and what it writes. Every piece of knowledge should be respected. So here in chapter 7, verse number 204, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. I spoke about the physical aspect of it and the respect. This is also another aspect of respect. Many of us today have a habit in our houses that we turn on YouTube in the morning, ruqya, or at night time, or Surah Baqarah, whatever else. We have the Quran playing on our TVs or our tablets or our cell phones. MashaAllah. That Quran requires the same respect as you in a masjid. When you turn on the Quran, if you have to do your daily chores, cooking and cleaning, homework or office work, whatever you're doing at the home, the respect that you need to give it is to be quiet and to listen to it. Do not make the Quran like a radio channel that is playing in the background and people are doing what they want. Allah is saying when the Quran is recited, then listen to it. Listen to it and pay attention. I don't know what the Quran is saying, oh Imam. That is fine. You don't need to know for the Quran to touch your heart. You don't need to know the language for the Quran to touch your heart. You don't need to know what it's saying to you in order for that mercy to impact your life. You just need to respect it first. Allah is saying, listen to it and pay attention so that you may receive the mercy. So humble request. And with that, we'll finish tonight. And we'll continue our journey. One point from each recitation every night that we can ponder over and take home. Tonight was the preparation work. Because there is no benefit from the Quran unless we are pure, unless we seek Allah's protection, and unless we respect it. My final request to the sisters upstairs and the brothers downstairs. If you don't want to pray Taraweeh, it's perfectly fine. But so long you're in the masjid, or you are in the side room, or you are upstairs in one of the rooms, or you're in the rotunda, or you are in the basketball court, wherever the Quran is reaching, there is no talking, there's no gossiping, there's no laughing, and there's no giggling. Why? Because that noise reaches the people who are reciting it and those who are trying to listen to it. So I tell people in Ramadan, if you don't want to do good, just go to sleep. Make sure you don't do anything wrong. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enlighten our hearts in this blessed month of Ramadan. May Allah elevate our ranks in this blessed month of Ramadan. May Allah open the gates of paradise for us today and keep it continuously open till the time of our death. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الله أكبر الله أكبر